Okay, Travis Wayne Goodsell just got back from the courthouse. And if you don't know, depending on how well received my earlier video was, I had started the day doing a short summary video of my lawsuit, again trying to generate more attention to it, because this is the huge lawsuit, guys. This is not some little minor thing that I'm gonna get a few $1,000s in a non-disclosure settlement agreement. No, this is huge. This is all in. I'm all in, and the church then has to decide whether they're going to fold or go all in also. And so you got to know when to hold them. What the church has done to me as a Mormon, having been born and raised in the church, is downright criminal. And what they did to me in 2008 was such extreme abuse that it was clear I was going to come after the church if I ever got freed from being held captive for 6 years. It was intended for life, but I got out. And so all this time I've been trying to collect evidence as individuals attack me along the way. And the common thread has been to attack me for my work with ancient languages, Egyptian and Paleo-Hebrew primarily, and it seems strange if you understand that the Mormons are all about the ancient languages. Joseph Smith calls himself a translator. And when Brigham Young usurped the church, they didn't take translator with them. They no longer talk about being translators, and they just keep it silent and hope nobody notices. I noticed, because I wanted to know how the Book of Abraham was to be translated, because there wasn't a translation in there. And so I wanted to know. And my mom just gave me the blow-off excuse. That's adult knowledge. That's not a good answer. And so I'm trying to get people to understand the seriousness of my lawsuit. Cade Birmingham is filing for another Mormon who's been disillusioned because of the lies that the church has been telling about church history, and is causing her client specifically, but it's a class action, about how people's lives are dramatically altered with this deception of church history. And then of course everybody knows the 100 billion scandal by now, and that's helped to generate more people's attention to my new website. My old one, YouTube shut me down, and it was dedicated primarily to criticism of the LDS Church. So for YouTube to interfere with that channel, because it's an LDS critic site, it was clear that Mormons had infiltrated or influenced YouTube to silence me. And so then they went after my website, because the day after I filed, my website all of a sudden later that afternoon surprised me with, "Hey, we've changed our analytical program to be like Google's, and all the people you thought had been coming to your website are gone." It's like, oh, the timing was just too coincidental to be coincidental. And so And so when I found out this morning, because I had, if you go to the website for my case, 219 CV 00711, you'll see that I originally filed back on September 30th, and then I did addendums because the church kept committing more crimes, and so the courts were not replying quick enough, and so as a result I was then told to appear at a hearing on the 1st of November, and at which point I was told to refile the case and don't do any more addendums, and so I turned it in on November 25th. And it's been this long, and they still have not granted the motion for process of service to the defendant, which is a crucial step in getting this whole thing going. And from that hearing on the 1st, I informed the judge that the defendant had been paying off the evaluator in the 2008 case against me that removed me from society, and that was to show that the church was directly involved, and that's why my case now is a criminal organization lawsuit, RICO, because of the church giving the orders to commit the crimes by all the associates of the church. And I define them as agents in my filing. And so the judge, I noticed, took special note of that, as she specifically took notes when I said that, and the audience that happened to be there behind me was like, oh. So yes, that was going on. The church had been paying off the evaluator who wrongfully diagnosed me in order to remove me from society, because the prosecution had no intention of taking this to trial, because they had no case. They made up the charges and had to make them serious enough to justify locking me up forever without a trial, and thus without going to prison, without going stuck in jail. Though they tried to get me stuck in jail for the rest of my life, and they can do that through their psychiatric observation area. All they have to do is claim, hey, this guy has some psychological problems, we need to, for his protection, keep him in these cells, and no judge, no lawyer, no contact with the outside world, you're just gone. And I had to fake a toothache to get out. I was there for 2 weeks. And so, yeah, this morning I did the video to do a summary, and then I was going to do a larger full video on the lawsuit. And after I did the summary video, which still ended up almost 20 minutes, then I did some research to get some pictures, found Mark Augustine, got you, and you know why I'm pointing at you. He doesn't like that. And so I was gonna prepare to do the video, the long video, to go over in detail the lawsuit, and wasn't intending to go down to the courthouse, though I had prepared the letter with the second motion, but it was going to do it on the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, on the 6th of January, the Monday after, so that the holidays were all done and over with. But then I decided to not go to my external file source and search for, do a quick screen capture of the evaluator's website, because that's the evidence that shows that the church had been paying off the evaluator after they got me locked up. That's the key. That's the holy grail. That's the missing link to my whole case. And lo and behold, when I first found it, I was like, what? Oh my God, they paid her off? I can't believe they're doing this in the open. But sure enough, and so I had done a screen capture before, which was on a different filing. And so I just wanted to be quick today. It turns out I had to go back to my file to do that other video that I did showing the old website screen capture and the new website screen capture that was done. They changed the website after the hearing on the 1st of November. And I don't recall pointing that out in a video. And I had pointed it out on my website, but nothing was done up until after the hearing on the 1st. And so I don't think they intended to change it just because I was exposing it online on my website. But after it was made clear that I was pursuing this in the legal realm, they immediately, I don't know when, what day, but it's been 2 months, almost, less than 2 months. So within that time period, it was changed, and no longer shows that they were being paid off by the church. But I presented the evidence in that other video I did this morning. And so with that, I made alterations to the letter that I was going to attach with the second motion for process, or for service of process, and included the updated information, generalizing it, and then I made an email reply to Judge First about my intention to come in this morning with the letter attached to the second motion, and informed her of the crime in progress, and asking for instruction as to how to proceed when I need to now add another count to my lawsuit. If I need to refile the whole thing again, or if there's some way to throw in an attachment without calling it an addendum, as I've been doing. And so let me check if it got put on Pacer from this morning's filing yet. Oops, here it is. Pacer. They still haven't put it in. Okay. Sealed document, order granting one motion. Oh, that's for informa populace. Okay. Motion service of process. Addendum case. Notice of hearing. Yeah, no, they haven't gotten to it yet. So, also in this letter, I made sure to mention the 100 billion, because my request for relief was contingent on the amount of total assets and income of the church. And so I said, because the church isn't revealing to us what that actual figure is, people are guessing between tens of billions and hundreds of billions. And with this new information, with the complaint to the IRS. It's now confirmed it's in the hundreds of billions. So yes, like I said, I'm all in. This is to the death. No, to the pain. Princess Bride reference. And so, yeah, that's the intention with civil lawsuit, because they don't go to jail. They don't get punished for crimes. And so even though treason, war crimes, RICO, bigamy, hate crimes, and now this new one, which I think is obstruction of justice, in the sense that it was an attempt to destroy evidence in an ongoing case. Yeah, and evidence crucial to the case to tie it to the church. So, this is a conspiracy filing, 1985 civil case, which is different than a 1983 civil case filing, which is just a regular one where one individual or business or organization or whatever discriminates against you or violates your rights. But this one is a conspiracy because it's a criminal organization that the church is giving orders, and all the layers, all the way down to associates, which I call agents, are involved in it. And so, yeah, this is huge, guys. It's not making the news because the church hasn't received their copy yet, so they can't reply for comment yet. But this is going to happen. My case has already been approved. I just have to wait for approval for the motion for service of process. And if the judge decides to be biased, which I point out in this letter, my concern of the biased nature in the federal courts, because the Mormon agents are everywhere. And that's causing a problem. And as you can see here, the federal court delay has allowed the evaluator back in 2008 to change their web page to take down the evidence that she was involved in the conspiracy, and the church was involved in the conspiracy as well. And so, yeah, this is huge, guys. What was done to me, it goes beyond evil. It goes beyond criminal. And this is the worst case scenario of inhumane treatment that ever existed. And I don't know how else to explain it, of how serious this is. That once the church gets contacted and given their filing, they then are trapped. They have 30 days to respond, and I'm pretty sure they're going to take the full 30 days to delay this out as far as they can. But they have to make a claim that I've already put in my case that it's not about the religion. And I put in Elder Pullman's 1984 talk as the case example of how the church is deceiving the courts and even Mormons that they are one and the same with religion. But I point out that it's about the corporation using religion as a front for criminal activity. And yeah, this is bad news, Mormons. You know, yes, I was surprised, but it was a gradual thing over time. You know, one abuse and misinformation and lies exposed. It all built up. And in 2008, I purposely needed to find out. And sure enough, the discovery packet revealed it all, because they expected me to be locked up for life so that I would never be able to disclose the information from the discovery. And the discovery holds all the secrets. They didn't even bother to cover it up because they had no case. They purposely were going to deprive a United States citizen of all rights because they were a translator of ancient languages. Mormons understand that, because Mormons believe that only the prophet of the church is a translator and can translate ancient writing. Yet, when the papyrus was returned to the church, David O. McKay said, gave it to Hugh Nibley at BYU. And then other scholars got access to it, and they of course said, we can't find the Hebrew name Abraham in the Egyptian texts on the papyrus. And I worded that specifically because Mormons got played by the Egyptologists, who I hope knew what they were saying, but maybe not. So, alright, this has already gone too long, and so I don't know if I gotta have lunch.